Wait, remember Godzilla the series? Do you remember this westernized misstep? Well, it's weirder. And better? I grew up a massive fan of Godzilla. From the classic original to the campy over-the-top tail-sliding action-packed era to even all forms of the newest iterations of the King of Monsters, like Shin Godzilla, the new Americanized Monsterverse, and the anime. But there was a moment back in the 90s in which we all gave this guy and this guy the full keys to the monster kingdom in making Godzilla completely mainstream outside of Japan. They redesigned the iconic looks of Godzilla into more of an amalgamation of different dinosaurs, mainly modeled after a velociraptor, but all stemming from an iguana. And just like me, I think they were watching just a little too much Jurassic Park. All this action here for the first time, one of the coolest and most exciting teaser trailers of all time. Anticipation is building. Matthew Broderick, OMG, what is going to happen next? The movie sucked. Flat out, pure botched garbage.
But that doesn't mean I love it any less. It's garbage, but it's good garbage.
It was so bad that even Toho, the creators of Godzilla, said, and I'm sorry for paraphrasing, this whack. They denounced this iteration of Godzilla and downgraded him to just Zilla, and then brutally killed him off in Australia in Godzilla Final Wars.
Look at Randy Orton slithering.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
KO! Here's the cover. Hook of the line, and the legend killer picks up the victory.
Damn, now that's what I call passive aggressive. Now I'm not gonna lie, when I was a kid, I ate this movie up. Like, I legitimately and honestly loved the movie as a kid. Look, here's a picture of me dressed up as Godzilla. Yes, the 1998 Roland Emmerich Godzilla for Halloween the same year. It wasn't until some years later that I would eventually grow up more with all the better Godzilla movies and see the error of my ways. When I was younger, I actually had like this chapstick. They did a promotion with chapstick that actually had a little Godzilla figure that curled around the chapstick as like a little holder. And I just remember, no one cares. No one cares about chapstick. But after all is said and done, the film was not well received, but nearly 4 months after the film hit theaters, the film got a sequel. It just wasn't a movie. Godzilla the series. This was legitimately the sequel to Godzilla following the aftermath of the film. Dr.
Nico Papadopoulos? It's the Topolis.
Is back, and now he teams up with Godzilla to save the day. That is not a joke, but please stay with me, let me explain, and it'll all make sense.
Welcome back to the 25 Days of Fringe-miss, where there's going to be
Wait. Double Fringe miss. Oh, you only thought you were gonna get 25 videos this year? Look at you. You look silly. But I'm here to fix that because I'm gonna give you not only 25 videos, but I'm giving you 50 videos. I have 2 channels. That's 2 Fringe misses. Each day there'll be a brand new video on both channels for 25 days. I haven't slept in months. Enjoy the content. Or don't. In the movie, Godzilla laid a lot of eggs in which the majority of them hatched and all of those baby Zillas were killed in an explosion. But there was a little stinger at the end that showed one final egg. This is the only surviving offspring of Godzilla, or Zilla. Fast forward to the show, and the egg hatches and sees Dr.
Nico Papadopoulos.
and instantly builds a bond as when a newborn animal sees their mother for the first time. But uh-oh, Godzilla ain't the only weird monster in town. The world now has a bunch of new weird creatures to stop from causing mayhem. To do this, Dr.
Nico Papadopoulos
became the leader of the Humanitarian Environmental Analysis Team, or HEAT for short. So a group of fun characters, a giant monster that acts like a dog, weird creatures to investigate. Yeah, this was basically Scooby-Doo. And that's not a bad thing. I love Scooby-Doo, specifically a pup named Scooby-Doo. Anyway, the show ran on Fox in the US and lasted 40 episodes over 2 seasons, and plus in season 1 there was this 3-part mini arc titled Monster Wars. Yeah, you probably played the Game Boy game based on that. Well, actually, I can see why you forgot about that one. But the thing that set it apart from the movie was one simple difference. It was pretty enjoyable. That's the difference.
You should watch Godzilla. Why? No reason.
But for real, the movie tried to be serious, but it had too much ridiculousness in it that it didn't fully embrace it. It just kind of turned it into a tonal mess. The show took this ridiculous factor and made it work by knowing what it was and playing to those strengths. When I watch some of the classic Godzilla films, I love how not serious some of those movies are. There's a certain charm that comes from obviously knowing that people are dressing in costumes and fighting each other in various locations or miniature cities. The show was able to take something that didn't work and made it work for the most part. Now, would I say the show was the peak of cartoon entertainment in the late 90s and early 2000s? No, clearly not. That belongs to the Dumb and Dumber cartoon. But it came at a time where so many movies would have a spin-off or continuing cartoon series which would have a 50-50 chance of actually being somewhat decent. And trust me, I have plenty more of those to go through aside from just Godzilla the series. A lot. But let's get into the show itself. It starts out as a 2-part episode special that takes place and reenacts the ending events of the film itself, leading the military and Dr.
Nick Papadopoulos
to go and double check that there are no more eggs left from Godzilla. After a while of searching and one collapsed ceiling later, Nico finds the final egg right as it hatches, and it runs away after getting spooked. Now with a giant creature on the loose, a ragtag team of environmental scientists with a need to make sure the creature doesn't do the same destruction as its parent, and a whole bunch of cartoon comedy antics, Godzilla the series is ready to take charge, ready to press for, I have no idea what to say. It's the show, that's what happens. That's the start of it. There's the start, now we're continuing from there. Everything there is now post that event. You got it? Okay, good. I don't get it. Cut to Jamaica, where some new sea creature starts terrorizing beachgoers. And while we wait to see what that is, some time has passed from when the egg hatched into the new young Godzilla that we see now is a lot more grown, and it actually recognizes the doc as its mother, essentially?
You are not.
They even treat the new Godzilla as a dog and explain that it only hunts for necessity and has loyalty towards its quote-unquote owner. But back in Jamaica, the new sea monster attacks a search and recovery ship who was looking for the missing beachgoers. And of course, that gets blamed on Godzilla. Don't worry, buddy, I'll do my best to get you out of trouble in court. I don't have a law degree. The military tried attacking and ambushing Godzilla as the Heat crew tried hiding him. Godzilla attacks back, causing complications between everyone, and then Godzilla ran away as to not get hurt or hurt anyone anymore. But now the whole crew wants to know what's going down in Jamaica, as well as what happened to Godzilla. So when they're down in Jamaica checking out the problem, that sea creature actually starts attacking their ship. And at the last second, crashing out of the water, Godzilla comes to save the day, fighting off an army of what turns out to be giant squid. But after all that, the squids may not be the real issue, as something may have drained them of their electrolytes before Godzilla even showed up. Then, arising from the sea as well, a giant mutated fish with arms looking monster feasts on the corpse of the dried out beach squid and then heads onto the shores of Jamaica, attacking and destroying everything in sight. Dubbed Crustaceous Rex, it mainly feeds on tar to grow and gain sustenance. It's roughly the same size as Godzilla and puts up a good fight, as this is the new young Godzilla's first real challenge ever. Godzilla puts everything he has into the fight and of course ultimately wins. Proves that while yes, he is a giant destructive monster, he ultimately wants to fight against the other monsters who bring unbalance to the world. He even helps retrieve the sunken boats from the previous attacks from the squids and Crustaceous Rex. As well as the show does a good job to show you that Godzilla is still a force of nature. While yes, it still has this dog-like mentality and will listen to anything the doc says, it's still a giant monster who has certain habits that's hard to control. And sometimes they accidentally come at a cost. While Godzilla may save the day, he still may accidentally destroy half of a city or part of a town. Take your mom out to a nice date at Denny's, you know what I'm saying?
So, you like Godzilla?
I gotta go.
And one thing the movie got very wrong was the character of Godzilla itself, as Godzilla was basically a monster set on just messing some things up around the city, compared to who Godzilla is portrayed as in the majority of his other films. Not necessarily a hero, but a monster to help keep balance in a world against the other monsters. And in the movie, Godzilla just kind of runs around town fighting like helicopters, and then he fights some army people, and then he fights Matthew Broderick, and then Matthew Broderick saves the day. And that's what the show attempts at fixing and gets right. The military agrees to let Godzilla go secretly back with Dr.
Tatopolis.
and would now be called upon to help out when more creatures rise up in different parts of the world. Spoiler alert, that's literally every episode, my guy. There is an impressive number of creatures with cool and unique designs within the show, and shout out to the website theamericangodzillafandom.com for not only having a lot of interesting details about the movie and the show, plus much more, but for also being a really cool tool and learning more about the monsters themselves that appear within the show, as well as let you know about some of the canceled creatures. RIP Gus the Spider. The Monster Wars arc, like I mentioned earlier, was pretty cool. You have Godzilla, who still has some old tendencies buried in his natural instinct, then starts to disobey Tatopolis a bit and gets somewhat moody. Okay, not that moody. And at the same time, the Heat crew finds themselves arguing and fighting constantly to the point where Heat may split up for good. And let's not forget all of the monsters that are gonna get in the way as well. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. There's aliens. There's always aliens. Yeah, the aliens are cool and all, but have you ever heard of Raid Shadow? I'm just kidding, I don't have sponsors.
This Double Fringe Miss is brought to you by Gamer Subs. Have you ever sat there and wondered what it would be like if I just went to Gamer Subs and got 10% off by using code FRINGE? Yeah, it's a nice thought, but guess what? It could be a reality if you just go to Gamer Subs, use code FRINGE, get 10% off of whatever you're getting, and you feel good about yourself because you save 10% and you're supporting the channel. You want to support me? What? Do you want to support me? You want to support? Look, use code FRINGE, 10% off. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Something I did find weird in the show was the changing of characters from the movie. Matthew Broderick brought a cautious but curious, nerdy earthworm scientist who was never trying to play a hero to fruition. Then the show, however, turns his character into the action hero that we didn't deserve, or maybe never even needed, putting himself and his team in danger constantly, making less calculated decisions, and just look at him. This is a hip, young, well-defined jawline hero and not Ferris Bueller with a funny name.
It's the topless.
Jean Reno's French operative character from the movie has a replacement as well, Monique Dupree, another agent of DGSE sent in to take down Godzilla but ends up being a part of the team and working alongside of him. Some people come back from the film to voice their characters though, which is cool, like Kevin Dunn, who plays Hicks, and Michael Lerner, who plays the mayor, Mayor Ebert. No correlation at all to Roger Ebert or anything. Please don't sue. The last 3 episodes of the show never aired on TV, but were on the DVD complete series box set. The final episode, Tourist Trap, isn't anything too special as far as a farewell episode. It ran accordingly to every other episode the show ever produced. Big monster attacks something, Godzilla fights it and wins, and the day is saved thanks to the Heat crew, but mostly Godzilla. It's actually all Godzilla. Thank you, Godzilla. The one episode I remember and hold pretty dear to my childhood was Future Shock, the season 2 premiere episode in which the team mysteriously gets thrown into the future year of 2022. Hold up a sec, I'm not prepared. Okay, now I'm prepared. The world they end up in is a destroyed wasteland run by evil monsters. Why does that sound familiar? Godzilla is no more in the future. He died a hero fighting off a new threat called Dragmas, which were made by scientists to basically be the perfect bioweapons. They were practically unbeatable, except when this happens. Yeah, that was awesome. This was a fun era of animation. And by fun, I mean interesting. I find myself oddly nostalgic for shows like this, even shows like this that I didn't even like that much or didn't have too much interest in. But there is just so much charm in Godzilla, it's hard not to have fun while watching it. And like I said earlier, it feels just like a weird alternate reality Scooby-Doo, only now Scooby-Doo is a giant building-sized monster. and I stand that. Godzilla the series was a fun show to revisit and brought back way more memories than I could have imagined. Some good and some bad, but overall I felt something, and as humans, I think that's all we really want in life. Did you ever watch this show? Heck, did you even know about it? Did you have the chapstick with the little Godzilla action figure? Please, I need to know. I want it back.
I've been Jordan Fringe. Thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Later.